Right, welcome ladies and gents. This will probably irritate a fair few individuals, whether you're from the UK or otherwise. Disney has received a $30 million tax break. Just here's a handout of tax money, essentially, from the British government for making the live action Snow White at Pinewood Studios and obviously around the UK. That's annoying. That is very, very annoying. That's actually make or break for some films, to be fair. So, hopefully, that isn't the marker for this film being a success later down the line. Because essentially, I helped fund that, and that's very annoying. So obviously, we're talking about Disney Snow White. Hit subscribe if you are new here. We've done a few videos on this, and of course, you know, this has been mired in controversy because... and the lead actress has come out and said some absolute nonsense. And it is absolute nonsense, belittling the previous movie, the original movie. In fact, the first feature animated film from Disney, the first movie that they ever made, and the movie that put them on the map. They bet it all on that film. And this film is, you know, it was mired in controversy from the get-go because you had little urchins like Peter Dinklage coming out making a fuss that... you know, dwarfs were being cast in the film, and that was apparently not fair. And Disney said, "You too right, Peter. We're not going to cast any dwarfs now, just one. So you're going to put people out of work." Smart job. Now the prince isn't a prince. He's, you know, a bandit, so that's all good as well. Can't have a love story either. It's just a joke. This film is a joke. And now another thread to the bow, the tapestry being weaved of nonsense, is a gigantic tax break. So even the Hollywood actress playing the title role has described Snow White as politically correct. The son of the director of the original movie has called it woke. And this is like a 90-year-old. Over the replacement of the famous seven dwarfs with a group of multi-ethnic magical companions. They're not magical. The dwarfs are gone. They're just bandits now. It's Snow White and the Seven Bandits. So now it can be revealed that the film has effectively cost UK taxpayers $30 million on account of tax breaks on filming at Pinewood Studios in Buckinghamshire. So no worries, keep those tax breaks coming, but you know we'll charge people out the wazoo for everything else in the UK. If you didn't know, UK is suffering, has one of the worst economies out of the developed world at the moment, and one of the worst inflation rates as well. So we're just being charged just non-stop because our leaders are absolute morons. There you go. You all thought I was right wing. I hate the Conservatives. They can suck my fat schlong. So anyway, the vast figure awarded under a lucrative tax credit scheme designed to boost the British film industry would have been enough to buy... I mean, the Daily Mail goes around it like, oh, it should have been spent on the NHS. Which, fine, whatever. That's another conversation in and unto itself. But they say, look, this due to be released next March. Snow White is Walt Disney's latest live-action reimagining of 20th century classic animations rewritten of the 20th century. Classic animations rewritten for modern audiences. I think what's important to note here, right, is the only reason we're able to know this taking place is the transparency in the UK. I like the fact that they're doing transparency in terms of their tax break schemes. It has to be filed under Companies House, which means we can all see the exact costing and breakdowns. It's actually how we know most things are costing Disney far more than they claim. So, just as a brief rundown, Gal Gadot's the evil queen, hilarious. Ansu Kabir plays the huntsman, and Andrew Burnap is Jonathan. He's a bandit, leader of the bandits. No Prince Charming here, guys. And apparently, according to Rachel Zegler, he can be cut out the movie for all anyone cares. So the production has been beset with controversy. Rachel Zegler, Latina actress, saying in a now deleted tweet that she was not bleaching my skin for the role. I don't think anyone asked you to, love. They were literally looking for a Latina actress from the start. Meanwhile, Disney announced that magical creatures would replace the Seven Dwarfs to avoid... They're called bandits, though, so that's... Okay, whatever. To avoid reinforcing stereotypes. After Game of Thrones actor Peter Dinklage criticised the effing backwards story. But a dwarf in this world is a magical creature, you dunce. Do they not know what they already made? So, addressing criticism that the film was trying to be politically correct, the lead star Rachel Zegler said the story needed refreshing. People are making these jokes about ours being the PC Snow White. Yeah, it is, because it needed that. No, it didn't. Timeless for a reason, love. So this summer, images from the production showed the troupe, a mix of genders, ethnicities and heights, striding across a Bedfordshire meadow. It prompted David Hand, whose father directed the original animated Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, to brand the changes insulting and woke, claiming that both his father and Walt Disney himself would be turning in their graves. And they probably would be. I mean, this guy does actually know, or did know, those individuals. But here we have it. Here's the thing you came for. The finances of blockbuster movies are usually closely guarded secret, but in the UK, that is the exception because of the government's film tax relief scheme, which gives studios a cash reimbursement of up to 25% of the money spent in the UK, providing it represents at least 10% of the production's total cost. So in order to do so, international studios set up separate companies and file accounts showing everything from staff numbers to the amount of tax relief they receive. Snow White was made by Disney's UK subsidiary Hidden Heart Production, whose recently filed accounts show that over the 3 years to July last year, Disney spent $150.5 million on making the movie. So that included $29.5 million in tax relief, which was invested into the production. Now, I mean, that puts it at what? That included, so is it 180 or is it 150 plus maybe? Yeah, I mean, it's obscene. It annoys me. It really annoys me that they get so much money. Massively, in fact. So according to the British Film Institute, before COVID, every £1 of tax relief generated £8.30 for the UK economy, even through direct expenditure or in creating new opportunities. Sources stress now that Disney has spent billions on production in the UK since 2019, directly supporting tens of thousands of jobs on projects, including dozens of feature films. The studio declined to comment on the tax relief payment towards making Snow White. Well, yeah, they're not going to want to comment on it because it looks badly on them in general, because no one wants this in the papers, because no one wants this movie, and no one wants to be funding it either. Now, look, in terms of tax relief, yeah, there may be an argument in terms of how much it benefits moving, further down the line in terms of local businesses and things like that, and the industry in general. But seeing an eye-watering amount of $30 million, it does make everyone go, that's annoying. Like, it would be a different story if it wasn't on absolute nonsense. I think people would have a better view of it because they're like, oh, well, we helped facilitate the funding of a good film. But when these films are just full of absolute garbage crap, it makes people stop and go, that's frustrating. Anyway, thought you'd enjoy / be irritated by this news. Hit subscribe if you're new here. Cheers, guys. Take care. Bye-bye now.